high kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fans Only Sports live coverage tonight of Division I hockey here in the state of Rhode Island. Quarterfinal round as the postseason for the Rhode Island Interscholastic League postseason has begun. So, of course, game one of the quarterfinals today between the Cumberland Clippers and the Prout Crusaders. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris He2, giving you all the action from every shot on net to every save to every second of every minute of every sequence. I will bring you through it all here tonight. Once again, from Mount St. Charles Academy, the Cumberland Clippers hosting the Prout Crusaders. So both teams in the middle of the pack in terms of Division I this season. And right now the playoffs truly underway here as we're about ready to go to get started for tonight's playoff game. Of course, looking at the playoff picture for this year, as Cumberland will be facing off against Prout to start off everything. We take a look at the way that division was set up this year. Trying to pull up my statistics as we speak. And of course, looking at the way things finished off this season, Cumberland finishing number 3 in the state with 23 points to their name, and Prout finishing with 15 points at the 6th seed. They were already locked into this postseason picture, as well as Cumberland. Both teams came into the year with a very, very, very strong cause to where they are now. And a strong case in and of itself. For a while, Ryan Barlow led the league with 15 goals for Warwick, but Christian Oliveira managed to step up, getting back-to-back hat tricks and a goal last week in order to put himself as the top scorer in the state of Rhode Island. And I will take a look at the Prout Crusaders. Of course, Sam Lopes third in terms of that ranking with 15, tied with Barlow. Of course, the 3 of Nick Gamba, the 4 of Aiden Forcier, a solid force in and of itself, no pun intended. The 9 that time of Caleb Burnett. The 17 of Luco Maleri. And then Derek Gismondi. And the man in the net tonight, the 1 of Angelo Evangelista. So now we will direct our attention to the left-hand side to introduce the Cumberland Clippers. And the 3 of Sam Lopes. We mentioned his name not too long ago. The 17 of Troy Sen. The 19 of Jamie Robbins. The 6 of Seth Perrin. Number 8, Jacob Lopes. And then your starter in net tonight, the 30 of Jared Johnson. So that concludes our starting lineups, and we will take a moment to remember America for the playing of our national anthem. And you can hear all that excitement and energy really bellowing from the Cumberland side of the ice. Before we get into the opening puck drop, we're going to get a word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game quarterfinal matchups on Fans Only Sports Network are all brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island, specializing in uniforms and custom team apparel, all done in-house in Smithfield, RI. Call 401-231-1995 or go to ray@rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Socia has been in the business for 20 years. Broker/owner, also has a certified real estate appraiser, Spanish-speaking, and covers Massachusetts as well. Any questions? We are just a phone call away. 401-742-8971. And then finally by RR Elite Recruits. Go to rreliterecruits.com and get access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches in NCAA sports. We have also added club hockey and prep academy coaches to our list. Fill an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. And that does it for our game sponsors today. So we will hit center ice for the opening puck drop in this one. And you can see Oliveira on the bench right next to Isabel Beitler, the backup goaltender for Cumberland. Had a very nasty head injury last week, but appears that he may play tonight. And Cumberland's going to need him. And we are underway as this one's sent all the way back into the Clippers side of the ice as Lopes will take it. Trying to lead it up to Robbins, but there Gamba traps it down and dumps it back in for Prout. That time, Perrin trying to bring it forward towards Robbins. And Gamba will jump it back in for Prout one more time. On the near side, Sen, it's broken free. Trying to take the chance was Burnett. Was unable to gain the extension. Now here comes Sam Lopes getting tied up, and the Crusaders will dump it back the opposite way. Jacob Lopes with Derek Gismondi on his tail. He gets it off in time for Perrin. Perrin hits it around the back end of the boards, and it's trapped over there that time by Cox. Jake Cox. Lopes backhands it to the opposite end. Cox is trapped up against the boards. And now here comes Mark Roberts. Roberts that time off there, and Johnson will glove it, but it's still in play as Luca Malari tried to take a chance on net. In the corner, the Crusaders continue to get this puck until the Clippers finally get it back to center from Robbins. And now the leading pass to Cox as it's dumped in. On the near side. That time McGill. McGill around the backside of the cage to Christian Oliveira. Oliveira cross center. This one hits the netting way out of play with 13:35 to go. So just a quick look at goals once again. Oliveira led the season with 17, and Sam Lopes tied at 15 with Griffin Crane and Ryan Barlow. Aiden Forcier is one of the top scorers in the league as well with 11 on his pay dirt this year. So they're going to need him in prime action throughout. This one's dumped back in to the near side. And of course, in terms of win this year, Jarrett Johnson, second overall with 10 wins to his name on the season, and Evangelista with only 6. It's been a tough year for Prout, but they've been able to win enough games to keep themselves in the conversation. That is why they're in the dance as it is. So we'll come back to center. Off the face-off. In front of the bench, it's dumped back to center ice. And Gamba will dump it into the zone. Lopes on the backside. He'll trek forward, giving it up to Sam. And now off to Robbins. Robbins trying to dump it behind Gamba. Trying to gain the vantage. He's pushed up against those boards, and on the far angle, Gamba and Lopes poke the puck free. In the corner, Malari. He sets it up to the top shelf. But a great move from Aiden Forcier. Forcier with a man to his right, whiffs on the chance, and Johnson stood there perfectly. But there's the shot, the score! And the Crusaders strike first. From from the center lane slot. The 20 of Derek Gismondi answers first as Prout takes a 1-0 lead here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series. Wow, what a way to open it up as Aiden Forcier had the 9 of Caleb Burnett to his right. He whiffed on the chance, and somehow the puck came back around in front with Johnson on his stomach, and the Crusaders take full advantage of the circumstance. We're back in action. Taken that time by Tyler Semo, and a little bit of a lead that time for Cox. Skirka trying to meet it first for Cumberland as Cox gets it away, and McGill will dump it back to center. The Crusaders have established a very strong forecheck out of the gate that's almost a blanket coverage. The Clippers haven't even gotten offensive possession established in the zone, and nearly another chance taken on net as Cox rifled that one. It was stopped by the defenders. And this one's poked back to center ice for Semo. Semo dumps it in on the back end. And Skirka trying to trap that time the 22 of Belcher. Coming back to the near side. Cox up to the top of the point for Gaffney, and this one rifled into the netting, out of play with 11:45 to go in the first period. And so now we'll face off. On the floor, that puck travels off to the right side. Robbins deflects it off the glass back to center. This one dumped all the way down, intended for Daniel Morrison. On the near side, he's having trouble moving the puck free, and Lopes is trying to chase down after Malari. Malari getting it over to Gamba. Gamba back to Malari. Malari a leading pass, but a nice feed that time up to Andrew Nowell. Wrapped into the zone as Lopes wraps it back to the near side. On that near side, Lopes to Perrin, and now across the shelf to Sen. They pull Johnson out of the net as there is a delayed penalty that's going to go against Prout. A great lead to Robbins. Robbins crossing the forefront, right in front, and it bounced back in. It bounced off the post. Oh my goodness. So they're going to get a penalty, but that shot that time from what looks to be the 6th of Seth Perrin, it just bounced off the post and right back into play. So that sends Andrew Norwell to the box for the next 2 minutes. And Cumberland will go on the power play. They could have walked away with a goal, but instead they'll have to take the penalty. Off the face-off in the backside, Semo rifles it downhill as the Crusaders manage to clear it one time. All the way up to Oliveira in center. Christian Oliveira crosses the blue line, a hard shot off of Evangelista, and he couldn't get the rebound. And on the far end, Lopes giving it to Sen. It went under his legs, and now Jacob Lopes giving it down to Robbins. Robbins has the puck taken away from Roberts, and Prout clears it again off the 18 of John Gaffney. Under a minute and a half to go on the penalty, and Cumberland has a chance to get back in this one, but right there, Roberts on top of the puck, nearly taken away. Dumped into the zone for Sam Lopes, and it's not going to be called icing. It's still in play as Gamba takes it, and Gamba dumps it all the way back down, and Cumberland's going to have to start from scratch again. Lopes. He'll make the trek towards center. Jacob Lopes dumps it into the zone by Collette. That one's going to go way out of play. 50 seconds to go on the penalty. Taken away that time by the 9 of Taylor. Off to the near side. McGill traps it at the blue line. He shuffles it down. And then Gamba will dump it back the opposite way. Johnson to stop it down for the 6 of Perrin. Cumberland's penalty is about to run out as we're under 25 seconds to go on the power play. And that time, the 9 of Taylor trying to get it up to center. Prout's really making it difficult all around as the Clippers just seem completely out of sync tonight. This is not something we've seen in a while in the feet. The Lopes went off the skates. And McGill rifles one down at Evangelista. The penalty expires off the impact. On the far side, Collette. And now dumped all the way back down. And this time we'll get an icing call. A little bit of not realizing where the positioning of the puck was, per se. And that dump away ends up coming back into the other end. So we'll face off once again. And in the corner. That time it was Simo lying on top of it. He gets up and takes it away. Wrapped around the back end. Simo cuts back to the near. Deflecting it off the glass. There's Lopes at the top shelf. Bringing it across ice. Forcier. Johnson will stick it away as it hits the back end. Prout takes possession. Gismondi that time up to Gaffney. The chance coming down wide to the left. Now this time Burnett. And taken away ultimately by Jacob Lopes. Lopes trying to keep the balance off the poke checks. And the Crusaders come away with the takeaway as Forcier has it here. Giving it that time to Gaffney. Gaffney, too much of a lead as this one's tipped into the zone. Lopes with the takeaway. Lopes, a nice shuffle pass to Sam Lopes underneath. Lopes in the stretch. Lopes off of Evangelista around the corner of the net and still in play. Evangelista sticks on the floor. Trying to give it to him. They get it back to him. And the Crusaders come up strongly on defense as they somehow manage to prevent any damage from being done. Still leading 1-0 on the Cumberland side of the ice. It's dumped back all the way down. Gamba trying to race ahead that time of Gavin Freiberger, and it's wrapped back to center. Noel dumps it in. Around the cage of Johnson for Skirka. Dylan Skirka, the hit of Oliveira. And now that time Taylor nearly getting tripped up. Taylor getting spun around. And the Crusaders take it away. A great look that time for Roberts. And it's saved by Johnson in the corner. Wow. But stopped again by Roberts. Roberts coming down and a little wide off the deflection. A lot of quick checks in between. Reality checks, that is, for both goaltenders. Somehow we're only in a 1-0 game. This one rolls on the threshold of the boards. As that time, McGill wraps it around the back end. Skirka to the far end. Oliveira trying to bring it back to center. Getting a little tied up. He has to extend for it. He falls to the floor. And we're still in action. Moving back and forth. Displaced puck coming downhill. McGill. This one goes way upstairs into our spectators there. And appears nobody is hurt, so that's definitely the ultimate positive here. And 6:12 to go in the first period of action. Prout still leading Cumberland by a score of 1-0. And off the faceoff on the far end, Lopes. He'll shuffle it all the way down, and we get another icing call. In play. Gamba, he'll dump it in. That time taken off the 9 of Burnett. Burnett somehow gets the extension out for Gismondi right in front of the net as Forcier couldn't sink it in. And now Malari to Gamba. Back to him. Malari. Traveling towards center. It's touched by Gismondi. It'll go into the zone. Gamba and Forcier this time. Forcier trying to lead it in front. Johnson with the great awareness to stop the play. And we got some shoving late after the play was over. Gismondi trying to come in and protect his teammate. That time it was the 10 of Mason Karamidas who was pushed to the floor. And we get a face-off on the right side. At the top shelf for Simo. Simo, off of Johnson. A hit off the shoulder pad. Still in front, and somehow Johnson will make the stop. Daniel Morrison was right in the face as he tried to backhand it. But we get a call that's going to push the face-off to the right side into the Prout side of the ice. So now the face-off on the right-hand side. Off of Evangelista. Didn't see where the first impact was from, but this one's passed up to Gismondi, or excuse me, that time Morrison. This one off of Johnson. Still in play as he nearly came back over the top of the net, right in front. He doesn't even know it's there. Shot, score! No, it's still in play. Are they going to count this? They're going to say no. It doesn't look like they're going to call the goal good. We're still waiting for official word. It looked like a shot in the score from up here. But some confusion. It looks like the net came off the moorings during the play. So in all likelihood, the play is going to stand as a dead play, no goal. Still waiting for the word. .5:08 to go in the first. We're back in action. Off the face-off. Trying to deflect it back to center. And it's taken away that time by the 3 of Gamba. And dumped all the way to the opposite end. And out of play by McGill. 4:54 to go. So we'll face off in neutral territory. And dumped in. This one wrapped around the backside of the cage. Back to the near side. Taken downhill. There to meet at that time is Gamba. Gamba pushed into the boards that time by Taylor. A hard hit in front of the open ice and trying to send it right at Evangelista, and we'll stop play with 4.5 to go. And more pushing and shoving. So once again, the goal did not stand. We're still stuck at 1-0. That time, Mark Roberts was pushed to the floor, and we're going to have a penalty against Christian Oliveira. So Oliveira who's been known to commit penalties besides scoring goals. He'll hit the cage, or the box in this case. And so now Prout, already up 1-0, will head on the power play with 4.5 to go in the first. And on the faceoff, this one sent down, trying to get the lead right in front. Couple of Prout players right there, and Johnson shuts them all down as the Clippers clear off the first round of attacks. Forcier cuts it up through center. Forcier to the middle. Forcier, and McGill takes it away, and it's brought back up to the top of the zone. Push to the far end. And over to the near side. Gamba, this one off of Johnson's pads. He couldn't sneak it through the 5-hole that time. Another one coming at him. And sent back up to center as Gamba traps it down again. Gamba over to Forcier. Forcier at the top shelf. Forcier off of Johnson again. Jesmondi wraps it around to the top shelf. Still in play. Another one. Derek Jesmondi puts up the second goal of the day for Prout, his second of the game. It's a power play goal for Mount, and it's the second goal of the game for Derek Jesmondi. With only 51 seconds to go on the penalties, and Jared Johnson surrenders the second goal of the day to the same man, and the Clippers are now playing from down by 2, as we're still not even through the first period. Back to center. It's dumped in, and now Taylor with the takeaway. Taylor has passed a little too far on the lead, and it's going to go down as icing. Let's get another word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's quarterfinal and all the quarterfinal matchups here at Fans Only Sports Network are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island, specializing in uniforms and custom team apparel, all done in-house in Smithfield, RI. Call 401-231-1995 or go to Ray at rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Socia has been in the business for 20 years, broker/owner, also a certified real estate appraiser, Spanish-speaking, and covers Massachusetts as well. Any questions? Call at 401-742-8971. And then finally by RR Elite Recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches at NCAA sports. Go to rreliterecruits.com. We have also added club hockey and prep academy coaches to our list. Fill an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. Back into the matchup right in front of Johnson, as that time it was the 10 of Mason Karamidas trying to test him. Another one off of him that time, as that time it's the 5 of Tyler Simo. On the far end, Collette back towards center. Simo. And the whistle to stop the play. And that one off the post right out of the gate from the face-off. Second time we've heard that happen before. And we get a whistle, a high stick call. So we'll face off down on the other end of the ice for that high stick. This is definitely an unexpected turn of events so far here from Adelard Arena, as this is the home of the Cumberland Clippers. They go between there and Lynch, but this season it's been Adelard for much of it. That time a delay of game called, or an early jump. And for Prout, they will usually take part at Boss Ice Arena or Schneider, but Boss Ice has been their home for a while. Very good job by them to get started on the road such as this. This shot from Lopes wraps around the back end. Oh, a hard hit that time. Wow! Forcier pushed right to the floor. As that time, Troy Sen absolutely leveled him in front of the visiting bench. A clean hit, they'll call, as play still continues. Wow. Gamba back to center, and the arms up. We'll get another icing call. And so we'll get the face-off on that left-hand side as it's taken away by Gaffney, trying to get it back up to center. The Clippers trap it up against the far boards. Pushing and shoving to free the puck as it comes back to center. McGill backhands it the other way in front of the box. And Oliveira will dump it in. On the near side. Clock trickling down slowly. McGill keeps it in the zone, and now coming back to center is Simo. Tyler Simo trying to get around the side, and McGill will knock him to the floor with the takeaway. And Oliveira, nice job leading it to center, trying to get it to Freiberger. But the Prout Crusaders will dump it back in one more time. Oliveira on the far side. Trying to cut in between. A nice move on Morrison. But Prout takes it away at center. Deflected off Oliveira there as Noel was in the vicinity. Oliveira knocks him to the floor, and he's called back to the bench. A little bit of a tie-up on Lopes. And Prout trying to gain the zone late in the period. Trying to find the wraparound off of Johnson, and he somehow will stop this with only 9 seconds to go in the first. You can feel the energy and the dynamic really differing so far tonight, but definitely not in the way we expected it. It's still very early. On the faceoff, Sen. He's just going to trap it up against the boards and let this period expire, and that's exactly what will happen. Score after one, 2-0. The Prout Crusaders on the road here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series lead the Cumberland Clippers by a score of 2-0. We'll take ourselves a quick commercial break and be back for the start of the second period here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series on Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna Strike.
2-0 as the Prout Crusaders lead the Cumberland High School Clippers after one. Both goals came from the 20 of Derek Gismondi, and Prout takes an early lead so far. Still 2 more periods to go. Cumberland with plenty of time to get back into the affair. Underway at center. The takeaway by Sen, off the draw. And Cox giving the lead that time to Mark Roberts. Roberts rifles this one over the top of Johnson as it deflects onto the near side. Wrapped around the back end. Perrin to Sen. Sen underneath, trying to lead Robbins. In the zone that time for Malari. Lopes pushed all over the place as Sen dumps it back in. Back to the top shelf. Lopes at center. Jacob Lopes deflecting it off time and time again of Cox. As now this time Mark Belcher. And now Sen. Sen to the near side for Sam Lopes. And trying to keep it in play on the near side. Sam Lopes to the far end that time to Jacob. And back to the near side. And dumped back in by Perrin to that far corner. And that time Malari trying to lead it up to center. Wow! And that time the 9 of Sean Taylor couldn't find anything on that shot on net. Now Gamba. He sends it back a little too far. And we get another icing call. And while we get that icing call, we'll get a word from tonight's game sponsors. So tonight's game, quarterfinal matchups, that is, on Fans Only Sports Network, are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island, specializing in uniforms and custom team apparel, all done in-house in Smithfield, RI. Call 401-231-1995 or go to Ray at rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, RI. Stephanie Socia has been a broker in the business for about 20 years, broker/owner. Also a certified real estate appraiser. Spanish speaking and covers Massachusetts as well. Any questions? We are just a phone call away at 401-742-8971. And then finally by RR Elite Recruits, go to rreliterecruits.com and get access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches across NCAA sports. We have also added club hockey and prep academy coaches to our list. Fill out our athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. What a save that time from Evangelista as Oliveira brought it downhill. Nearly off the rebound. Another try as it's deflected to the near side. The crowd really getting rowdy here as Skirka dumps it in to lead Freiberger. Up in front of the boards there. And now taking it back to center. Forcier. Aiden Forcier cuts it back to the middle. Oliveira makes Gismondi spin a full 360. Oliveira trying to cut it around. Oliveira loses the stick in the process. And it's sent back to center. A hard hit by both players and a delay penalty coming. And they're actually going to call it good. Robbins right in front. The backhanded save from Evangelista. Wow! Prout keeps dodging bullet after bullet. But it's coming from the back of Angelo Evangelista, staying calm and poised in the net. Back towards center. Here comes Noel, trying to stop the bleeding. He'll dump it in. McGill. Robbins. And now Lopes. And Gamba with a nice poke check to give it back to Noel. He'll dump it in on the near side. And on the back end for McGill. McGill. Back to center. Lead Sen. Troy Sen, one man to beat, and he has to back off as Luca Malari was all over the place there and was in the perfect spot defensively. Jacob Lopes trapped it to bring it back down, but it's taken away by Roberts. Mark Roberts. Ooh, a nice chance to set up Daniel Morrison. And now Jacob Lopes with the takeaway in front of the bench. Hard tie up there. And backhanded, not even sure where the puck went. It's still in the Prout zone, or Cumberland zone. Back to center. Lopes. Lopes sends this one, and Evangelista will stop the play with 11:09 to go. What a sequence of events right there that led up to where we are now, my goodness. Cumberland's taken these good chances, but just the playmaking ability so far of Angelo Evangelista is what's keeping Prout in the lead so far. The more this Clippers unit tries, the more we may see that thick wall of Evangelista begin to crumble. It only takes so long before the game can get evened up. Right there, a chance. As that time, that was the 15 of Colin Rayleigh. And Prout sends this one a little too far. We got another icing call. Wow. So we'll gain the face-off on the right-hand face-off dot. And Oliveira, this one rifled into the protective netting immediately. And out of play with 10:51 to go. Oliveira, a high-velocity shooter on the ice. Really tried to take a chance right there. And on the far end, this one dumped in. Right in front is Oliveira, nearly tipped it into the net. Off the deflection, off the stick. This one going back the other way. To the near side. And now to the top shelf. Taken away here by Oliveira. One-on-one with Evangelista. And Evangelista, oh my goodness, is playing like I've never seen before. Usually, that's a said and done deal for Christian Oliveira, but just a great save from the man in the net. That's Angelo Evangelista. Taylor has the puck pushed back to the near side. Perrin, Oliveira, this one in the air and behind the cage into the back end boards. And cuts all the way down. One-on-one try for Forcier, and Johnson makes the save and keeps the puck in play. Oh my goodness, back-to-back breakaway tries have all been shut down. Gamba rifles this one for Morrison. Morrison, a nice play, but it bounces off of Johnson behind the cage. Lopes with the tie-up, getting it up to Robbins. Robbins now to Sen on the near side. Sen. And Lopes. The pass that time back to Karamidas. And now back to center. Noel trying to go underneath for Skirka. And Lopes back to center. Sam Lopes only has Malari to beat. Lopes to Robbins, back of the net. Cumberland's on the board. Sam Lopes led the charge and got the perfect setup for Jamie Robbins to send it right between the legs of Angelo Evangelista to narrow the margin within one. The score now 2-1, Prout. As Cumberland does answer back, Angelo Evangelista's shutout has now been officially broken. He's been playing good. He's been playing rather excellent as of late. The defense really collapsing in these last few minutes. So both sides really going to have to figure some things out. Coming back to center. Cumberland slowly starting to figure itself out here, as Lopes will take it away off of Johnson, gloving it up. Excuse me. In front of the cage, it's dumped in. Lopes. It's wrapped around the corner that time as Roberts is there. Oliveira in front of the net. Now the takeaway by Skirka. Coming back to the center. And now back the opposite way for Lopes. And dumped around to the near side. And shuffled up to center for Oliveira. Christian Oliveira. Right there, and we get a delayed penalty as the arm is up. And we finally get the whistle. .8:25 to go. And off the boards, McGill sends this one into the corner. Perrin trying to come down for the play, and it'll deflect back up to center. McGill to Lopes. Sam Lopes trying to gain the zone on Malari. And Malari, with a great defensive effort, gives it up to Derek Gismondi. Underneath, the pass intended that time for a Prout offender. And now Robbins with the takeaway. Robbins cutting it back, trying to lead Sen. Sen back to Robbins. Robbins trying to set it up right in front on Evangelista, and it's pushed back to the near side in the corner. And it's poked back to center for McGill. McGill deflects it in. Coming back to center is Gamba. Gamba right underneath Perrin off the back end. Freiberger trying to get it underneath the Forcier. McGill, this one tipped right in front. Oliveira trying to gain the zone that time on Karamidas, and Karamidas manages to push the puck loose. However, the Clippers keep it in the zone. Perrin sending it down that time for Medeiros. And it'll come back right in front, or excuse me, that time it was Taylor. As the puck continues to be displaced back and forth, we get a delayed tripping call. It's going to go against Cumberland, as Karamidas was the one who was tripped. Freiberger really letting this one go, and we finally get the whistle and the stoppage of play and the trip to be called against the Clippers. Perrin hitting the penalty box as he tripped Mason Karamidas. So Seth Perrin going to have a minor for 2 minutes. And now we'll face off on that left-hand side. Prout to go on the power play now. Till he hit 450. On the far end that time, Roberts in the offensive zone, giving it downhill to Gismondi. Forcier giving it back to Roberts. Now Gamba. Forcier. Roberts looking for the lane, giving it to Gismondi. And Burnett trying to gain it on McGill. Burnett trapped up against the boards, needing some help from Gismondi. McGill playing some blanket defense there on the PK. Gismondi off of the defender, trying to find the back door. Shot, score! Derek Gismondi, it's a hat trick! Make that goal number 3 of the day for Prout, and goal number 3 of the day for Derek Gismondi, as the Crusaders get a second power play goal and take a 3-1 advantage late in the second period. Wow. The Crusaders have come here to Adelard Arena and really have made this ice their own. And the puck somehow sneaking through that back door. It's a very low percentage chance of having the puck sneak through there in general. And right out of the gate, we're back in action. Lopes trying to lead at that time for Robbins. Robbins gains the zone. Jamie Robbins setting her up right in front, and a save as Sam Lopes is on the near side. But the Clippers keep it in. However, a little too high of a pass as that one goes out of play, hitting the protective netting. Sen, this one way over the top, coming back to the near side. Sen. Robbins having a Prout defender push him up against the boards that time, as now Cox takes it. Cox having some trouble with Lopes in his face. Sam Lopes to give it down, and Prout will take it away. Gaffney, losing possession there as Robbins had to be pushed to the floor to prevent anything from happening. And Robbins trying to take it again. Robbins holding on to the puck, and somehow Simo comes in to intervene. Here comes Addison, Logan Addison, dumping it in. A good set for Cox, shot, score! It's 4-1 Prout! Jake Cox gets the 4th goal of the evening for the Prout Crusaders. And here in Adelard, the away side is getting much louder than that home side over there that has a much larger populated side of this rink. It's very packed tonight in here, but wow, just great energy from this Prout team as they're really starting out on the road as a 6th seed and really going up against one of the top scoring teams in the state. Wow. Unbelievable so far. Perfect. We'll take it one more time. Trying to take a picture for our fans-only sports people. There we go. Looks beautiful. So, the score 4-1 now, with 5:16 to go in the second. This has been a very shocking result so far. Of course, we still got plenty of time to go. But wow, Cumberland really being stunned here in the opening of the series. Of course, still plenty of time, as we said before, but it's not the result we were expecting right out of the gate. Cumberland trying to reset itself. They'll dump it back to center, and it's dumped back in by Luca Malari. Back to the corner. And it comes all the way back down. As that time, Forcier. Forcier trying to gain the advantage on Taylor. Sen with the takeaway as he somehow took it. But a great stop by the Crusaders defense. They've had some mistakes made, but they've been able to make up for it. Forcier, Aiden Forcier, and McGill will make the stop right in front of Johnson. Traveling behind the cage that time is Roberts. Roberts backhanding it off of Johnson's pads. And now Freiberger, Gavin Freiberger, moving through center. Oliveira couldn't get the takeaway, and Skirka will dump it in. And that time Taylor touched it going into the bench. And it will be called offsides. Lopes. Back to Robbins at center. It's sent the opposite way. Back and forth it goes. Lopes with the lead that time. Up against the far board. And in the corner, it's kicked back to the top shelf for Lopes. Coming down, a lot of people there. Congestion stops the play from occurring. Lopes behind the back. Jacob Lopes. It's deflected off the shin pads back to center. Excuse me. Whew. Jacob Lopes. Off the glass. And at the blue line. Sen to Perrin. As the Crusaders couldn't touch it to stay onside. They'll dump it in. This one coming all the way back to center for Sen. Troy Sen. Leaving it off for Lopes. Lopes. Whoa, this one going high in the air back to the near side. But still in play. Trying to get it set up in front of the net. Behind the back that time for Sen. Sen to Lopes. Lopes sending this one a little too high as it bounces off the left side. Perrin. This one back to center. Coming all the way down here as Forcier tries to gain the advantage, and Lopes will trip him up. And Cumberland going to be called for another penalty with 2:54 to go. Second time we've called Seth Perrin's number. And he's being charged this time for a cross check. Crusaders already have 2 power play goals in the game so far, as they are nursing a 4-1 lead over Cumberland. The Clippers have just been playing on their heels for most of this one. Some great setup opportunities. They just haven't been able to finish the deal. On the power play, Oliveira trying to get it back to center, and that time Forcier's forced to retreat to center. Gamba back to Forcier. Forcier, he'll dump this one in. McGill sending all the way down, a great dump away, and a good clear. Forcier playing a little too off as that time Oliveira tried to catch him sleeping. This one's given back up to center towards Roberts. And taken away. Lopes will dump it back into the zone. Gamba cuts it to the inside. Taken away by Taylor off of the screen play from Oliveira. Gamba, now Oliveira off the backboard. Oliveira trying to kick it in front, and Angelo Evangelista will knock it behind the net as Forciers dumps it to the near side. All the way back to the top of the zone for Gismondi. Cuts it to the middle, and this one slowly goes off of Johnson's pads with under a minute to go as the Clippers clear it again. Evangelista with the stop. Forcier will come in. Forcier giving it up that time to Cox. And the Clippers clear it again. Forcier will lead it to Roberts with under 30 seconds. On the power play. Dumped in. McGill wraps it around to the far end. And it's going to go all the way back down again. Prout hasn't been able to set up an offensive attack on this power play ever since the start. Clippers are just playing good blanket coverage late in the period. Taken away, and that time Jake Cox came across the blue line a little too soon, and offsides is the call. This one dumped in the back end to the near side. Under a minute to go in the period. So off the back end boards. And it's deflected off. Sen trying to lead a man. And Evangelista's going to have to make the save quickly before any damage can occur with 40 solid seconds to go in the second. And Sen whiffs on the chance. This one coming back to center. Trying to lead it for Simo. Take away by Lopes. Lopes back all the way down. Oh, Robbins trying to gain the advantage in front of the net, and he's shuffled down and stopped. Prout's been just having an excellent way of things so far. Just Mondi in the corner. And 9 seconds to go as the play's called dead. 4-1 the score so far as Prout leads Cumberland. And we'll come back to center again. And a face off in the neutral zone. This one dumped all the way back. Gamba wraps it around back to the near side, and that will do it for the second period of action. After 2, your score 4-1 here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series in the Rhode Island Interscholastic League postseason as the Prout Crusaders lead the Cumberland Clippers by a score of 4-1 in Game 1. We're going to take a break here and come back for the start of the third period right here on Fans Only Sports Network. And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score! High kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
High kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, Deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In fires, deflected, no! Rebound! Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Welcome back to the third period of action here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series between the Cumberland High School Clippers and the Prout Crusaders. Prout leading Game 1 by a score of 4-1. 15 minutes to go till we get a 1-0 advantage for one team here tonight. Can the Crusaders hold on to this lead? And can the Clippers somehow pull off the unthinkable and potentially come back to win this one? 15 minutes to decide it all, but only one will walk away with Game 1's victory. Here we go. Back in the action as it's dumped away over to Lopes. Lopes really taking it back as he sends it up to center. Taken away by Malari as it's dumped into the zone. On the near side, Lopes sending it back all the way down, and icing going to be the call. We'll get a word from today's game sponsors while we get underway here for one final time. Quarterfinals matchups on Fans Only Sports Network are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island, specializing in uniforms and custom team apparel, all done in-house in Smithfield, RI. Call 401-231-1995 or go to ray@rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Socia has been in the business for 20 years. Broker/owner, also a certified real estate appraiser. Spanish speaking and covers in Massachusetts as well. Any questions? One phone call away at 401-742-8971. And then by RR Elite Recruits, go to rreliterecruits.com to get access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches across NCAA sports. We have also added club hockey and prep academy coaches to our list. Fill out an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. Heading the opposite way, as Prout nearly took another chance to find their 5th goal of the evening. Dump to the far end. Gamba sends it into the corner lane. And on the near side, puck being sent all the way down the opposite end. And we get an icing call with 13:50 to go in the third period. On the face-off, McGill sends it around the backside to the far end. Skirka trying to lead it towards center, and Jake Cox will dump it in. McGill dumps it around to the near side for Freiberger. Puck nearly forced free. It's taken away by Skirka. Skirka to Oliveira. And that time, Roberts sends it back down. McGill all the way back to the near side for Freiberger. And across ice for McGill back to center. And it's dumped in off of Johnson, still in play. Trying to force the takeaway as Karamidas is pushed to the floor, and Taylor sends it down the opposite way. And unfortunately, too far of a lead as icing is the call. And a face-off. This one coming to center for Oliveira. Christian Oliveira trying to find the lane, and Evangelista does a full-on split to make the save. Wow. Another one coming down into that corner. Barron dumps it over for Robbins. And up against the far board. Taken away by Oliveira. This one flipped towards the back, as that time it's the 23 of Noel. To center, Lopes. He'll dump it in. And now Gamba trying to free the puck from it within the zone. Pass to the near side for Malari. Back to center. And this one goes way out of play into the stands. And so we'll come to face off at center ice. Lopes to Skirka. Back towards center that time before it's dumped back into the corner lane. On the near side, McGill dumps it around. Another one coming down towards the net and out of play. McGill, he'll take it, dumps it to the far end, and now all the way down the opposite way. Taylor trying to gain the advantage that time on Reeves. He somehow gets the puck free, but none of the Clippers were there to assist, and so it's causing more trouble. That time Cox And it's flipped up to center that time for Skirka to take away. Oh, excuse me. And now Lopes trying to cut it to the inside, up to center, and taken away by Sam Lopes. To McGill. McGill to Collette. Collette losing the stick in the process. Surprised it wasn't called for a slash. And we do get ourselves an icing call. And this one's going to hit the ceiling out of play. On the far end, trying to trap it at the top shelf. It's taken away by Forcier. And dumped back the other way by Perrin as Gamba dumps it in. Perrin, Seth Perrin, sends it up to center for Oliveira. Oliveira is going to need to use the speed to gain it on Malari. And Malari giving it up to Gamba. And the puck still in front. And back to center as Sen touched it on the opposite side of the ice. Gamba, he'll dump it back down. Going behind the cage. Into the corner. And back to center ice for Oliveira. Poked back towards Robbins. Underneath. And now Gamba. He'll circulate. Try and find that open lane, and he'll dump it back the opposite way. And icing going to be the call with 10:18 to go. Lopes dumps it down behind the net. Wrapped around to the near side towards McGill. And now in the corner. And a back and forth as Simo gets the takeaway. McGill will stop it at the blue line, and he'll dump it back in. Puck pushed back and forth. Taken away again by Freiberger. Lopes trying to send it down. He'll finally push the puck free before Simo dumps it the opposite way. And another icing. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I am just yawning like crazy right now. I have no idea as to why. They do say it's contagious, so somebody in this rink must be yawning a whole lot. So we get a face-off on the left-hand side of the cage, and we're back in it. Off the glass, McGill to stop it past the neutral zone in his own end. Underneath of Oliveira as Malari will dump it in for the Prout. Skirka around the backside for Oliveira. And this one across. Dangerous position as it was in front of Johnson. Lopes ahead of the play. However, a little too far ahead. Another icing call with 9:15 to go. Cumberland hasn't been able to get any type of offensive attack going ever since the start of the third. Prout has come into Adelard tonight and really made this ice their own. It's just such a shock to see how well this team is doing on the road so far in Game 1 of the quarterfinals. This could ultimately be one of the dark horses. This one off of Johnson. Still in play, right in front of the net, and it'll come all the way back up past the blue line into the neutral ice. Trying to skate down after it that time is Gaffney. Back towards Taylor, and right off of Evangelista. Gismondi all the way up front for Forcier. Forcier, a beautiful move around the defenders. Aiden Forcier. Oh, and Gismondi whiffed on the one-timer setup. What a dangerous position for the Clippers again. This defense has fallen asleep time and time again. The Crusaders have taken advantage several times. They nearly gave up another goal there. At center, Gismondi sends it the other way as he takes a hit. Troy Sen cuts it back to the left lane, and Evangelista will glove that one up. Under 8.5 to go. And the score, Prout 4, Cumberland 1. And at the top shelf for McGill. That one stopped by the defender. Oliveira sends this one off of Evangelista. Trying to backhand it at him. Still in front. And the Crusaders' defense was right there to make the stop. However, more pressure to come as they get an icing call on the floor. 8:08 to go. Cumberland still trails by 3 goals. They have the tools to do it. The question is, are they going to be able to capitalize and take full advantage of these tools at their asset? And at their disposal, I should say. But if Prout wins tonight's game, this series will go back to Boss Ice Arena tomorrow night, and Prout could be deciding the game there. However, still too much to really talk about there, as we got plenty of time left in this one. In the corner. Coming back right in front, Taylor's shot deflected away. Freiberger trying to gain the advantage on Gamba. Taylor up to Lopes. Lopes sending it down to the slot as Freiberger got swallowed up. Sen. This one way over the top of the net, and we do get a whistle, as it looks like the puck might have gone out of play. Under 8 to go in the third. On the near side, being forced away. McGill trying to send one down. This one, whoa, coming right at our spectators as we get another stoppage. No netting here at Mount St. Charles Academy except on either ends of the nets. And it's definitely an interesting setup. I mean, this is one of the oldest rinks, not just in Rhode Island, but in the country for that matter. So it's definitely a little surprising, to say the least, that there's still no netting here on our side. And off the face-off. Trying to set him up was Lopes in front, and it stopped. Coming back to center, off of Gismondi. And now Robbins enters the blue line onside. This one traveling behind the cage. Back towards the top shelf for McGill. Lopes trying to tip and drag, and McGill will bring it back to center as it got offside. And he'll dump it in. And another icing call. Don't really know what's going on with Cumberland today. This is usually one of the more disciplined units in hockey, in Division I this season. But so far today, it's just been nothing really to write off about. This team's just been swallowed up, and Prout's just been playing excellent. At all occasions theirs that time. That was Logan Addison. Nearly had an open lane there on Johnson. Johnson doing a full split to push that puck loose to the right. At the top shelf, Knoll giving it off that time for Simo. This one off of Johnson, who almost misdirected where the puck was. Misjudged, I should say, into that corner. Karamidas trapped up against the board. Neither side can pull it away. Karamidas trying to take it away as Taylor gets on top of it. Karamidas right in front, and Lopes, he'll scoop it over to the near side. This one coming down right in the center lane, and Taylor comes in to make the stop. And once again, leading the pass too much for his teammate. And another icing call at 6:16 to go. Gamba. Nick Gamba. Down that time, right in the center lane for Cox, and it's stopped by the defense as Oliveira gives it up for Robbins. Jamie Robbins has Lopes to his right, and Robbins couldn't get in the net. The pass was delayed, and Skirka has to come back to the top. We're going to have a delayed penalty, and it looks like it might be against the Crusaders. Johnson comes to the bench as it's dumped in, and Cox is going to touch it, and the penalty will be called. And we're going to get a roughing call against the Crusaders. So it's going to be a roughing call, that time against the 22 of Mark Belcher. With 5:47 to go in the third. The score 4-1. And Cumberland with a chance to bring this game back within reach. They trail by 3. Lopes at the top of the zone. Off that time to Taylor. Evangelista deflects it to the far side. In that corner, Lopes unable to take the puck away as it travels towards the net, and Jacob Lopes has to stop it across the blue line. You could tell he was very upset by that. Robbins, he'll dump it in. And right in front again, and the Crusaders push the puck all the way back down. And on the power play, Jared Johnson's already been taken out of the game. It's 6-on-4. Oliveira, this one into the netting, and that'll stop play with 1:16 left to go on the penalty. It's been quite surprising to say the least. The events that have occurred here tonight. 5:01 to go in the third, and 1:16 to go on penalties. Charge to Prout. Still 6-on-4 on the ice, and we get a timeout by Cumberland. Score 4-1 with just about 5 minutes to go left here in Game 1 of the quarterfinal series. The Cumberland Clippers trail the Prout Crusaders by a score of 4-1. We'll be right back in just a moment following the timeout. In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Welcome back following the timeout. Score 4-1. We're back underway. This one coming off of Evangelista, having to lay out for it again, and another great save. This one off the backboard. Wow, you can hear that one. Over to Lopes. Lopes, Oliveira. Wow, Robbins taking the chance. Evangelista came all the way out of the net to make a tough save. 58 seconds to go in the third. Johnson still out of the net for the Clippers. Still 6-on-4. This is a very risky coaching decision by head coach Mark Andriozzi, as he's really looking to get another goal in with 6 men on the ice and no man in net. Lopes down past Robbins. to Sam Lopes, back to Robbins. Clippers really having to move this puck quickly to avoid any chances on their own net. 45 seconds to go on the power play. Gonna have to consider pulling a man back soon. Sen to Robbins. Robbins downhill off of Evangelista. Screened in front was Lopes. In the slot, that one off the pads, back of the net, shot scored, Jamie Robbins! Cumberland brings it back within 2 with 6 on 4 on the power play. Jamie Robbins brings in the second goal of the evening. Prout still leads with 4:18 to go, and this game definitely has a chance to go either way. Can the Clippers go the distance and complete the comeback? They'll take the face-off. Lopes, he'll cut it back to the left side. He'll head up through center. Lopes off to Robbins. Robbins right in front of Evangelista. Again, Evangelista scrambling. The puck loose. It's in the back of the net again. Cumberland scores. Cumberland scores. Just when we thought all hope was lost, Jacob Lopes comes in right in front with Angelo Evangelista on the ground, on his belly. 2 goals in the span of 20 seconds to bring the game within 1. 4-3 the score, and the momentum is completely shifted late in the game. On the face-off, McGill right in front of the bench as it's dumped in. Sent the opposite way. McGill, he'll dump it in. Gamba whipping on the chance. Perrin sending it down towards Collette. Right in front of the net, and Gamba will dump it back to center. McGill pushed off the mark in front of the bench. Cox taken away that time by Perrin. Now Freiberger trying to lead Collette again. Perrin underneath, a little bit of a lead that time, but Taylor off of Evangelista, it's still in play, coming back around on the left side. Perrin at the top shelf off of Evangelista again, and it'll come back to neutral territory. McGill with the dump in. Taken off by Malari. Intercepted in front of the net by Lopes, oh my goodness! Over the top of the net, nearly could have resulted in a tie game. This one dumped away a little too far, and an icing call. Oh my goodness, really got to take a breather right there, my gosh. The Clippers have stormed back in, and not only that, they've managed to keep the puck in the Prout Crusaders zone for quite some time. And the energy really starting to build up to a climax here. 2:56 to go in the third. On the face-off, McGill hits the netting out of play. We'll do it all over again. Robbins, deflecting off of Evangelista. This one coming back to the top shelf. McGill sending it down a little wide to the right. Still in play. Lopes, displaced puck, sent all the way down. We'll do it again, icing. Prout's just unable to feed the puck past the blue line to get any offensive attack going. You'd think a timeout would have to be called soon, and sooner rather than later. Cumberland is going to pull Jared Johnson at some point soon to push to tie this game up. .236 to go. Another one coming. This one right in front. A chance. Oh my goodness. A little wide as Sen whiffed on it. Right in front again. Robbins wide of the net. Still in play. Coming back up through center is Roberts. Mark Roberts underneath. Trying to lead it under for Cox. And taken away by Lopes on the near side. Back through center. Still through neutral territory. Pass to Gamba. Prout's trying to kill as much time as possible, and it's still in play. We thought there was icing, but it's still active. Active play leads for Sam Lopes. Lopes in the corner. Lopes under 2 minutes and too much of a lead. Johnson was coming off the floor, and he's going to have to retreat back into the net. Cumberland, they got to do everything they can to get this fourth goal to send it to overtime. Forcier dumps it in, icing, perfect chance to get Johnson out and the sixth man on the ice. They're going to send Oliveira onto the floor with not much time to go. Just about a minute and a half. A chance. This one deflecting off the pads. Robbins trying to set it in front for Lopes. This one deflected off of Evangelista. Back of the net. Cumberland's done it. Cumberland's done it. They've tied the game. Sam Lopes. Sam Lopes, say his name 3 times as he adds the fourth goal of the night. Cumberland's come back in the third period from a 4-1 deficit to tie things up with a minute 27 to go in the third period here in game 1 of the quarterfinal series. Wow. You could not have expected the game to go this way, but the Clippers, who were shut down for most of this one, really rallied to come back from that big-time deficit. The playoffs are unlike any other, and they're showing us why it's anyone's game. The face-off at center. Into the corner. On the back end, McGill to Lopes. Jacob Lopes. It's dumped in off of, that time, Taylor. Forcier cuts it to the inside. An open lane, Jasmani, shot, score! Oh my goodness, Prout retakes the lead! Derek Jasmani, goal number 4 of the night. Goal number 5 for Prout, and Jarrett Johnson cannot believe it. Oh my goodness. Just when we thought the game would go to extra time, it's still not off the table. But wow, Prout really coming back on that one. Oh my goodness, words can't describe what just happened here, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Jasmani, 4 goals in tonight's game. And the Clippers are playing with everything left. Johnson getting pulled off. Not much time to go. He's going to have to retreat quickly. And they're still going to pull him. Whistle called. Too many men on the ice. Wow. They get the penalty. Cumberland going to be charged. And send Sean Taylor to the box. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So now 5-on-4. This is it. Cumberland called for too many men on the ice. Oliveira is going to have to take it up. They're going to pull Johnson anyways to make it even. Oliveira getting tripped up. And it's poked back to center and cleared. Robbins. The lead to McGill. McGill a little too far. Cox trying to wind up to sink it. And still clock winding down. Lopes up to the near side to McGill. McGill will dump it in. And now this time, the 5 of Simo. Oof, another hard hit. And in the back of the net, an empty netter for Tyler Simo. Tyler Simo hits the empty netter to make it 6-4. What looked like to be one of the biggest comebacks we've seen in a long time has just been snuffed out with 2 late goals here in the game. Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable set of events we've witnessed tonight here in the third period. 5 goals total from both sides combined. And at one point, what made this one look like it would be going to overtime, right in front again, and Johnson's going to stop it with under 10 seconds to go. And the face-off that will likely conclude this one. This one dumped back the other way, and as Andrew Noel holds it, Prout will take game 1 of the quarterfinal series. 6-4, your final. The Clippers managed to come back in the third, trailing 4-1, scored 3 unanswered goals to bring this game back within reach to send it to overtime. But a late shot and score from Derek Gismondi led the charge. And then, of course, Tyler Simo hitting the empty netter to seal the deal to win the game by 2, 6-4, the final score. The Clippers, it took them a while to wake up, and they were there when it mattered. But something just snapped at the end for the Prout and for Cumberland. And Cumberland will take the loss here at home in game 1 of the quarterfinal series. It's a best of 3. If Prout will host tomorrow night's game at Boss Ice Arena in Kingston. If they can take the game tomorrow night, they will move on to the state semifinals. Cumberland needs to win tomorrow night to come back here to Adelard to see who will decide the series. So, sudden death up in the air for the Clippers. For Prout, they will take a 1-0 lead in the series. And Cam Rancourt on the call in that game tomorrow night. He will take you through the plays of that. So look forward to that. But until then, thank you all for tuning in to tonight's matchup. I'm Chris Hetu signing off here on this one from Fans Only Sports Network. Prout defeats Cumberland by a final score once again of 6-4. We'll catch you all the rest of the weekend here on Fans Only Sports Network here for the Rhode Island Interscholastic State quarterfinal games right here on Fans Only Sports Network. Thank you and have a great rest of your weekend.